And what if we push another number? What happens then? L and 10. Let's see what happens. We get an error, we get a crash. So yeah, make sure that you don't push too many numbers if you haven't specified them. So yeah, that's the first problem, how to return something from Lua and get it into C++. This is how we did it. I can go through this one more time. So first we open the state, we open the default libraries, we make sure that we call the script, we search for this predefined function here, the function that we want to call. If it is a function, we push the two arguments that we want to use. We call the script, and then we make sure that the variable on top of the stack is a number, and we print that number, and that is this the number we print is this return, the return value. Okay, so that's the first problems. And then we had how you pass arguments to functions from C++. So that's what oh right, okay. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, we want to create our function in C++, because this is what I think you meant, how we create a C++ function and call it in Lua with certain arguments. Or maybe I've just answered that question, I don't really. Well, I think I've covered this, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. So we create our function called print something, right? And then we pass in the Lua state, as you know. Make sure this is of type int. Now we're gonna create the function here, and we're gonna check how many arguments we have. And as I've explained earlier, Lua getTop returns the number of variables in the stack currently. So if we have this function here, print something, and we pass in, let's say, how are you, right? Then there are 3 arguments. That means there will be 3 values in the stack. So this will equal to 3. So if arguments is bigger or greater or equal than 3, so we make sure that we have 3 arguments, as we expect to have 3 arguments, so we don't get a crash if we don't have 3 arguments. If we have more than 3 arguments, that won't really do anything, except that we must, to get the right or the 3 first arguments, we have to use these arguments variable and do something like negative arguments. This is in this case equals to -3, right, as 3 arguments, and it will then return the first argument. -2 is the second argument, and -1 is the last argument, right? So if we have 3 arguments, we want to check if all those arguments are of type string. So Lua is string negative arguments, and Lua is string +1, and Lua is string +2. So as I said, what we're doing here is pretty much getting the 3 first arguments, so we don't let's say we expect to use these three, and then we somehow add another argument here that we don't want to use. We don't want this argument. Then we have to do like this. We get the number of arguments, the number of items on the stack. Then we make sure that we take the first negative arguments will essentially position us on the first argument in the stack. It's pretty hard to explain, but it pretty much returns the last argument on the stack. So in this case, when we have 4, this is -4, -3, -2, and -1. So when we have negative args, it will be 4. It will be -4. As we have 4 arguments, so this variable args is equal to 4. When we take negative args, we get -4, which is the first argument. Alright, so I'm gonna stop explaining that there. So I hope you understand. So now when we made sure that 3 arguments are type string, we want to print them. So right? Yeah. Now we're just gonna, and you can of course do whatever you want with these arguments, but I'm just gonna print them. So now we are gonna register the function, the name of the function in Lua, which is in this case print s, and the name in C++, which is print something. Now we get an error. Right, must return a value. It's gonna return nothing. Return nothing. How are you? So this is as we wanted it to be. We wanted to pass in 3 arguments. We wanted to print those 3 arguments, and we wanted those 3 arguments to be of type string. So we had 3 arguments. How are you? We printed those out, and everything's perfect. So what if we add another one? As I said earlier, it will still only print the 3 first arguments because of this accessing thingy here. Alright, awesome. So that's pretty much what you asked for, I guess. I hope it was. If not, yeah, you're gonna have to explain your request a little bit better. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it has been useful. So later.